Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to import outcomes into your course such that you can then build an assessment rubric using the individual outcomes. So first, open your Canvas course that contains the assignment or assignments to which you wish to associate outcomes to assess. So here I am going to go to the Outcomes page using the link on the left-hand side. And once you are in the Outcomes area, I want you to click on Find on the upper right corner of the screen. When you click this, you'll see this screen, and over on the top left, you will see Account Standards. I want you to go ahead and click the Account Standards, and that will open up a drop-down menu to the University of Northern Colorado. Click that drop-down menu, and then you will see the individual outcomes across all of the outcomes that are in the system. Now, here you want to select GT Pathways on the left-hand side. That will bring you to a drop-down menu. As you can see here, as of the time of this recording, there are 3 GTP competencies for which there are outcomes in the system: critical thinking, inquiry and analysis, and quantitative literacy. For the purposes of this example, I'm going to select inquiry and analysis, and you can see the Add button on the right-hand side. I would go ahead and add those by clicking that button. I could go then to quantitative literacy, and I can add those outcomes as well if I wish, and I will do that by clicking the Add buttons here on the right-hand side. And after it has done so, you will see that it will show those outcomes added to the course. And that places the outcomes in the course shell so that you can access them. Once those outcomes are added, we can go ahead and select Done. And you'll just repeat that process until you have added all of the outcomes that you need to for your course. And once you've done all of that, you can return to your home page. Once you're at your home page, then we're going to want to go to the aligned assignment or assignments that you're going to use for assessment. So I'm going to go to Assignments. For this example, I'm just using my standard signature assignment placeholder, but your assignment could be anything in the system for which you have students submitting artifacts. So I'm going to click that assignment. Okay, now I want to add a rubric so that I can assess those outcomes. I have already added the outcomes, and so now I'm going to build them into a rubric. So what I'm going to do is click the Add Rubric button, and that will give us the generic rubric builder tool. And once we reach this point, we want to title our rubric. I'm going to call it Assessment Rubric. And then near the bottom of the rubric, you'll see a link called Find Outcome. You'll click the Find Outcome, and now those outcomes that we added will be located here in the system. So I might be building in outcomes from one or more of the GTP competencies. And in this case, we are simply going to stick to our inquiry and analysis competency because in this example, we're going to say that that is the outcome that we're assessing with this assignment. Now, there are 6 learning outcomes associated with inquiry and analysis. Identify a topic, incorporate information and existing research, integrate various points of view, select or develop a design process, analyze and interpret evidence, and then draw conclusions. The three required outcomes, the three we must assess, are select or develop a design process, analyze and interpret evidence, and draw conclusions. The other three are optional, so we're going to go ahead and add the required three to our rubric. And we're going to start with select or develop a design process. And so we will click that outcome, and then we will click import. And then you will see our rubric has added that outcome. And you know it's an outcome because if you look on the upper left corner of the criteria, you'll see a target icon. That target icon tells you that it is an embedded outcome in the system. That's what we want to find. So now I'm going to go back to the Find Outcome link, and I'm going to continue using that link until I have selected all of the outcomes that I want to add to my rubric. So next, I'll click Analyze and Interpret Evidence. I will import that one. And you can see these continue to just be added to our rubric as we go. One more, we're going to Find Outcome, and we're going to add Draw Conclusions. And we're going to import that one. Okay, now we have our three required outcomes for inquiry and analysis. Now, it started with a placeholder at the very beginning, but for this rubric, we're just going to use this for assessment. So we're not going to add any grading criteria or anything extra, so we can go ahead and delete that placeholder by clicking the trash can icon, and that'll just go away. And now because we're using this solely for assessment, maybe we don't want to have points associated with our criteria of this rubric. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the rubric to our options, and we're going to click on Remove Points from Rubric. Once we click that, it will remove the points from each of the criteria of the rubric, and then we can create rubric by clicking the Create Rubric button at the very bottom, assuming we're done. Now, I added the three required outcomes for inquiry and analysis, but if your assignment addresses both inquiry and analysis and quantitative literacy, you could embed the outcomes for both of those competencies into one rubric using the same process I have showed you here. So we're going to assume at this point we're done. We've imported all the outcomes that we need to assess. We've removed points from the rubric. And so now we're going to click Create Rubric. Once we've created that rubric, we are ready to assess the student's work once they have submitted to this assignment by indicating the appropriate performance level on each of the criteria. And then those data will go directly into the system, and you are all set. Thank you for following along with this video. I hope it is helpful to show you how to develop your own assessment rubric.